Hi, ladies. So at this point, you should have probably received in the mail your packet that you're going to be using to work from. So it looks like this. It's your fifth grade math workbook packet, and it has a couple weeks worth of assignments that we're going to be working through together. So on the fourth and fifth pages, you have 2 pages of resources. So you have your operation clue words, a couple of other just random helpful place value charts, reminder of area and perimeter. And then on page 5, the greater than, less than, equal to sign, some odd and even numbers, how to write in standard form, written form, or expanded form, and then also a multiplication chart to 15. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of review work from last week. So in your packet, you're going to be working on day 1, week 1. So there are 3 pages that go along with today's lesson. So you have this first page that you see right here, and then your second page over of using exponents and using those to, to write a number. So at the top we have the number 100 can be written as a power of 10 using 10 as the base and 2 as the exponent. So we talked last week about how that 2 or that exponent tells us how many zeros a number is going to have. So that base number right here is what we're multiplying. So that's the number that's being multiplied. The exponent tells us how many times we multiply it. And then you'll see that it is an answer of a 1. So the 1 right here in 100 with 2 zeros. So then we have our 2 zeros. All right, so going down to number 1, it says an exponent is the number that tells you how many times to use the base number as a factor. So the exponent is labeled right up here, and it tells us how many times we're going to multiply that base number. So it says which number is the exponent in 10 to the 5th. Okay, so if we look at our example up at the top, the 10 represents that base, the 5 represents that exponent. Remember, the exponents are going to be those smaller numbers up at the top of your base number. All right, so then number 2 says, when a number is written with an exponent, the base is the number that is used as a factor. So we have our exponent, in our example up top was 5. So right here we have our base of 10, and that's the number that's being used as a factor. That's the number that we're multiplying however many times our exponent tells us. So it says in the expression 2 times 10 to the 4th, which base is used as a factor 4 times? So if we're looking at this, we want to kind of not pay attention to the 2 right now. We want to focus on this 10 to the 4th. The 4 tells us that we're multiplying this 10 4 times, just like we did here. The 10 was our base number. We multiplied it 2 times. Down here, our 10 is our base number. The 4 tells us to multiply it 4 times. So our base number that's being used as a factor is the number 10. And then on number 3, when we write 1,000 as a power of 10, we can find the value of the exponent by counting the number of zeros in 1,000. So we know that the exponent is going to tell us how many zeros we want to have after the number 1. So in 1,000, we have a 1 with 1, 2, 3 zeros. So 1,000 would be written as a power of 10 is going to be equal to 10 to the power of 3, because that 3 tells us how many zeros we should have behind the number 1 in 1,000. And then 10,000 written as a power of 10. Oh no, something's happening. So then 10,000 written as a power of 10 is equal to, and we're going to write out the entire exponent. Oh my goodness. So we're writing out the entire problem, so that would be 10. And then it's going to have a power of 4 because there are 4 zeros written behind the 1. Okay, so that's going to look like this. So it's going to be 10 with a little 4 up in the corner. Okay, and that 10 tells us we're multiplying 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Okay, so we've got that 10. The 4 is telling us that we multiply it 4 times, or we have a 1 with 4 zeros. Okay, so down at the bottom, number 5, we'll do a couple of these together, and then you will be doing a couple of them on your own. And then we'll look at the back page and do a couple of examples for that one. So it says one bee colony on Mr. Gordon's farm contains 60,000 bees. Complete the pattern to write 60,000 using an exponent. Okay, so we're going to start out and work our way down to create 60,000. So if you look at this first one, we have 6 times 10 to the first power. 6 times 10 to the first power is basically the exact same thing as just taking 6 times 10. Or it would be having the number 6 with 1 0 behind it. Okay, so that's that's 6, and then we have 1 0 behind it because 10 to the first has 1 0 is a 1, which tells us we have 1 0. So let's go down and do 6 times 10 to the third. Okay, so 6 times 10 to the third means that we're taking 6 times 10, and that 3 tells us we're going to take it times 10 3 times. So these blank boxes are each going to be written with the number 10. And this one as well. Okay, so we have that exponent of 3, 10 to the third, so 10 times 10 times 10. And then that's going to give us an answer of having 6, and that exponent tells us we need 3 zeros behind it. And don't forget that you want to make sure that you put that comma in your number in the correct spot. All right, so you're going to be completing the last couple of problems on this page. And then number 6, you can just write somewhere on your page as well. So you're writing 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 as an exponent. So remember, your base number is going to be the number that you're multiplying. And then, so your factor represents your base number, and then however many times that you're multiplying it represents your exponent. All right, so let's take a look at the back. And then we're going to go down to number 24. It says choose all the equations that are true. Okay, so we're going to choose all the equations that are true. So if you're looking at this first one, we have 6 times 10 to the 5th. Okay, so that's us taking 6 and multiplying it by a number that either has 5 zeros, a 1 with 5 zeros, or it's going to be us taking 6 times 10 5 times. So we want to look at this and see, do we have 6 times a 1 with 5 zeros? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, we do. So this one we can fill in either with an X, or you can fill it in all the way. All right, so then the next one, we have 6 times 10 to the 5th again, and we just said up top that 10 to the 5th is represented by 100,000, and right here we have 10,000. 10,000 only has 4 zeros, but it's saying that we need to have 5. So this one would not be correct because it doesn't have enough zeros. 10 to the 5th does not equal 10,000. So then we have 6 times 10 to the 5th again. And you'll see that these are a little bit different, but remember, if we take it the extra step, this is going to be us taking 6 with 5 zeros, okay? So 6 with 5 zeros, because if you look at this right here, if I take 6 times 1, I get 6, and then I have all of these zeros at the end. So 6 times 1 is 6, with 5 zeros would be 600,000. Looking at the next one, I have 6 times 10 to the 5th again, but I took 6 times 1 and got 6, but I only have 4 zeros here. So that exponent should have been a 4. So this one is not correct. And then lastly, on number 24, I have 6 times 10 to the 5th. So 6 times 1, remember, we're finding that base factor. 6 times 1 gave me 6. But they took this 5 and put it in the problem, but we know that that exponent represents how many zeros when we're using a power of 10, represents how many zeros we should have after that 6. So 6 times 10 to the 5th is like taking 6 times 100,000, which would not give us 650,000. All right, so today for your lesson, you are going to, again, continue by finishing out the rest of the problems on pages 6. So you'll see at the bottom of your page that they are numbered. So you're going to be finishing page 6, these 3 problems, and then also number 6. And then on page 7, you have these problems that you need to finish as well. If you have any questions, hold on to those or reach out. And then when we connect, we can definitely talk about them. Or again, you can reach out through email or through Remind. Just make sure you tell me what page number it is and what question you're working on so that I can pull it up and I can help you. You're also going to have a quick check on Pearson Realize today. So your quick check is going to be for lesson 1-1. So make sure that you are checking in and finding that assignment on Pearson Realize. That's a little bit of like your homework for today. So please make sure that you get logged in and are working on that assignment.